So I screwed up my Toyota Tacoma. This is a 2025 TRD Sport, but I did fix it. And I'm going to tell you what I did and how I fixed it, I guess. So it's time to own up. First of all, I'm going to blame this on just pure ignorance and maybe lack of research, I guess. I wanted, like many of us do, new tires and new wheels. The wheels are fine for the new Toyota Tacoma. So my prerequisites were that they were a certain size, 275/70 R18s, and that accompanied with the wheels, of course, they gave me some wheel poke, a little bit, which I got. I also wanted white letters, and this is probably where my big mistake comes in. I wanted white letters so I could put them out. Kind of a throwback, if you will, right? I had them years ago on my junky sport cars that I had, or sports cars. So I wanted them on the truck, and I think it's come back. They really do look good. But in my haste, I found the tires that I wanted, but they have the wrong load range. They are a load range E, as you can see right here. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, they are heavy. What does a load range E actually give you? Well, first of all, they are 10-ply tires. And yeah, I've got this stuff written down here because I'm never going to remember it all. But they're 10-ply tires versus, say, 4 to 6-ply. And that, of course, means that they're going to be heavier. That means that the truck has to haul around that weight, right? It's got to make those tires move, of course. What does that do? Well, it affects fuel economy. From what I found, you're going to lose, or you can expect to lose, about 1 to 2 miles per gallon. Probably explains some of the reason why I'm getting, I don't know, 15 miles per gallon, 15.6, something like that. Add another 2 miles per gallon and I'm at 17.6, right? There's some other reasons why my miles per gallon are lower. It's not just that. And it affects acceleration. One of the biggest things for me, right? I love vehicles that get up and go when you hit the accelerator, the gas pedal, right? They're going to cut down on that because they're so freaking heavy. A harsher ride if you don't inflate them properly, and I have messed with that a little bit recently. I started out, and it actually was set, I think, at 40 when I was at Discount Tire, which is way too high for me. I think these tires can go up to as high as 81, depending on what you're doing. I mean, could you imagine? Anyway, I set them at about 35, 36 PSI, and the ride was rough. So I lowered them to 34, which is what I'm running right now, and I've noticed a marked improvement in doing that. Of course, when they heat up, it's going to add another probably couple PSI, so really I'm running at an effective PSI of 36, maybe even 37, depending on what I'm doing. Which does yield a little bit rougher ride, but it's not horrible. So what did I do? Well, there's a couple things that I did. We're going to kind of turn this into I guess, an infomercial sort of. Not really my intent because this did work for me. Let me go ahead and pop the hood. I'll show you what I've got underneath here that has solved my problem, or actually even made the truck better than it would have been just stock. I'm talking about the Banks setup, right? I've got the Banks cold air intake. This thing gives me an extra 18 horsepower. It's actually a hair over that. And an extra 17 plus foot-pounds of torque. That is going to help me out when it comes to hauling around those heavy-duty 10-ply tires, right? I also added the boost tubes you guys can see here. We've got one on each side, of course. Well, what they do is they are bigger. They allow for more and smoother airflow to the turbo. Not only does that increase the longevity of the turbo, or the life of the turbo, but it also helps, again, in concert, I guess, with the intake, acceleration. Now, there is one more component to this that I added. You can't see it. I've got it tucked up underneath the dash, and you might see a wire here, kind of upside down. It's the Banks Pedal Monster. That is, of course, a throttle controller. What does it do? It allows you to control the throttle. In my case, it allows me to make it more sensitive, right? So when I hit the accelerator, it picks up my push faster, if that makes any sense. So it goes quicker. That means that I'm going to be compensating for that extra weight that I've robbed the truck with when it comes to acceleration. Now, when it comes to fuel economy, I have had reports in the group and on the channel from people that have installed the same components that I have here from Banks, that they've gained 1 to 2 miles per gallon. 1 to 2 miles per gallon would offset what I have stolen from the truck by adding these extra heavy tires, right? I really wish I would have gone with maybe a 4 or a 6 ply, and I will the next time around. But for now, we're not going to dump brand new tires, right? So there is a code down below, by the way. We got to throw that in. It is code RobMotive, lowercase ROBMOTIVE, where you can save a little bit of money. Make sure that you enter that at checkout. If you're interested in the Pedal Monster right now, Banks is also running a promo, so you'll save even a little bit more over the promo that they're offering. Am I happy with the truck the way that it is now? Yes. I have solved the problem of hauling around that extra weight by adding the Banks intake and boost tubes and the Pedal Monster. Now, this can also come in handy if you've added weight in the form of camping gear. Maybe you're one of those fellas or gals out there who put a roof rack on, maybe with a rooftop tent, something like that. Even a tonneau cover on the back adds, what, 50 to 75 pounds. Add in the side rails or the rock rails that I've put on. They're about 50 plus pounds a piece. So I've added extra things to the truck that take up more weight or add more weight anyway. But adding the Bank stuff gives you a way to bring the truck back to stock level. In other words, where it was when you drove it off the lot. I've heard of a lot of people mention that they've added equipment and things to the truck and now their truck is a dog. Well, no wonder, right? I mean, you've added extra weight to the truck. You've got to do something to compensate for that. The Banks products will take care of that. Love them on my truck, and part of the fun in doing it for me was really just the installation. Easy to put on and quality stuff. Anyway, I just wanted to get on, kind of own up, let anybody know who maybe is in the market for tires. Stay away from load range E. You'll regret it in the end, unless of course you add the Bank stuff in, and then if you're like me, you're probably going to be better than you were before you started. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, and don't forget, click that subscribe button. Bye.